So, like, I was raised in the Church of Christ, which I was kind of under the impression growing up there that they're the one true church from the day of Pentecost and all the other churches are wrong. Then I left and I went to Baptist church, and I went to a Holiness church, a Holiness Pentecostal church, a Wesleyan church, trying to grope around Mennonite church, grope around and hear and figure out of all these sects and schisms what is the truth. And I've changed my opinions on several things, which is why I don't condemn any of you that have a different opinion than me, because I'd be condemning my past self, and I don't want to be condemned back then. I'd rather be loved into the truth. Someone love me into the truth, please. But anyways, I'm not trying to be a backbiter, divider, contentious, hypocrite, sinner, judge, wicked evildoer. But I hold these truths to be self-evident. Not self-evident, but biblically evident to me. Someone show me how to read these guys. If you could change my mind on how to read these handful of passages, I'd say I'd have 5 or 5. Okay, that's a handful, 5. During Jesus' lifetime, he said the Father was the only true God. That excludes himself. Jesus excluded himself by saying, Father, you're the only true God. So, I've done the time and thought and argument to hear the arguments on that. And some will say, well, Jesus was God. Then, when he humbled himself and became a man, he wasn't. And that's when it was true at that time. The Father was the only true one at that time. I don't know what kind of Trinitarianism that is, but that's not eternally. Jesus isn't eternally God in that case, is he? No, he's not. Okay. So that's a weird position to hold, in my opinion, for a Trinitarian, but because Jesus stopped being God at some point. I thought he was fully God when he was man, right? Fully God and fully man. And so I've heard these arguments here, and then, well, what about after he ascended? Well, Paul said in 1 Corinthians 4 and 6, there's none other God but one. And to us, the Christians, there's only one God, the Father. That's the only one God. That's the same God Jesus said was the only true God. In Acts 3, the Acts of the Apostles, what were they telling people? Acts 3:13, the God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, hath glorified his Son. Did the Trinity have a son? No, because the Trinity includes Jesus, and Jesus didn't have a son that he glorified. So that the God of our fathers is not the Trinity, and it's not Jesus there. It must be the Father, the only true God. See, these scriptures all agree. Revelations 3:12, Jesus said, I will build you a place in the temple of my God. My God, who is his God? He told us in John when he says, I go unto my God and your God, the Father. Jesus is ascending up to his God and your God. So who is your God? Your God is the Trinity. Your God is Jesus. Well, your God is the Father, and his God is the Father, and his God's the only true God. And there's none other God but one, the Father. To us, the Christians, there's none other God but one, the Father. And Jesus went unto his God, the Father, and in his God's, he's going to build a temple or place there in the temple of his God who? The Father. So, like I'm saying, once these things are evident that this is a foundational truth, you cannot hold these other interpretations of John 1:1, and you're forced to read them another way. Forced by the Scripture. The Scripture binds my hands, binds my feet, it binds my mouth, it binds my mind. I can't read John 1:1 to contradict these other scriptures now. I'm bound by them. Can you unbind me, brother? Show me how these passages should be read. Show me how. Don't use the John 1:1 to say John 1:1 contradicts these scriptures. It's not contradicting the scriptures. It can't be. I'm bound by these scriptures. I'm saying, show me how these scriptures are interpreted not to mean what they're saying. Can you do that? Not bring me another passage that seemingly contradicts it, which can't contradict it because the Bible doesn't contradict. So don't bring me a contradictory passage. Bring me a passage to untie the binds of these passages that are binding me. That I can't read John 1:1 the way you're reading it because this passage contradicts that. Can you unbind me? Save me from hell.